We're going to be doing a lot of pushing for what's coming up in Georgia. I got a long list of things to talk about today, but one of the most important things that we're going to be focused on over the next couple months is the Senate race in Georgia. It is perfectly in line with what I'm trying to help get accomplished in this country. Regardless of whether or not I am an ecstatic fan of either of those politicians, which I'm not. You don't have to be to realize how important it is for us to get Mitch McConnell out of the Senate leader position, Senate majority leader position. We have to. We absolutely have to. And if there's any chance of any progressive agenda being accomplished at all, it won't happen with the Republicans in power. It will not. Not with them holding the Senate. And depending on what you believe about the Democratic Party, it is the perfect excuse. It is the perfect excuse to not do anything if Republicans maintain the Senate, because technically Democrats won't be able to do anything if Republicans hold the Senate. So we need to get all of the Republicans out of the paint. We absolutely need to get the Republicans out of the paint. And by out of the paint, I mean that we need to get the majority. It would be a 50-50 Senate if John Ossoff wins in Georgia and if Raphael Warnock wins in Georgia. If they win those two seats, then there will be a 50-50 split in the Senate, and Kamala Harris would be the person to break the tie. The vice president is always able to come in and vote to break a tie in a 50-50 tie. So there will be a possible agenda accomplished. In a few minutes, I'll be bringing on my dude, Marcus Ferrell. He'll be joining me to discuss some of the organizations that you should be aware of that are grassroots organizations here in Georgia. And that, if you want to know who you can donate to, who you can volunteer for, he's going to be discussing the organizations with the track record. Okay, organizations with the track record of having impact. I just want to be very candid about something. It wasn't your standard Democrat who turned Georgia blue. It wasn't. There are a lot of grassroots organizing efforts that went into turning Georgia blue. And this is important. I think I have the data, and I'll try to bring it on your screen. There was a chart that I had that I got from Twitter that showed you who actually turned Georgia blue. It was young people and it was black people. It was especially young black people between the ages of 18 and 29 that voted for Joe Biden at 90%. And the politics of the younger generation is anything but milquetoast. It is not your standard fare Jim Clyburn style politics. It's not. It's not your standard fare. And this is not to make an enemy out of these people, because I'll make an enemy out of them on the regular podcast and on Twitter. It's just to say that if you want to know what got people to the polls, it wasn't so much hope. Actually, I can say it very, very affirmatively. If you want to know what got the winning margin in Georgia from those young organizers, those young black people and brown people who showed up for Joe Biden in obscene numbers, like 90% of the people, of black people between the ages of 18 and 29, 90% of those who came out and voted for Joe Biden. They weren't moved by, hope and change from a promise from Joe Biden. They were moved because they understood that it's going to be critically necessary to get Donald Trump out of office if they were going to accomplish anything that they want to accomplish. There is a minor civil war that's happening inside of the Democratic Party right now. Now, all of us understand, everybody understands the importance of winning January 5th, getting those two seats, getting Mitch McConnell out of the way. But how to accomplish that really matters. There's a minor civil war going on between the Lincoln Project Republicans and folks like me and to the left of me. Here's why there's a fight, and I hope that you can let me take my time with this, and then I got a whole lot of content to go through, a lot of videos. We'll go through all this, but here's why this is important. The Lincoln Project is a group of people who worked directly with George W. Bush. They worked in his administration, for his administration, and they are Republicans who have been on the wrong side of every single issue that's important to you and me. It just so happens that they didn't like Donald Trump. They like everything else. They like those 2017 tax cuts, which added to the deficit. And now we're going to have to start talking about austerity because of their move in 2017. They like the tax cuts. They like the foreign policy. They like the war in Iraq because they helped start the war in Iraq. They just so happen to not like Donald Trump. And so they raised $67 million. $67 million in order to convince Republicans to vote against Donald Trump. More Republicans voted for Donald Trump in 2020 than in 2016. So if their objective, which it was to convince Republicans to take that money that they raised from Democrats, from people like you, they raised that money to convince Republicans to vote against Donald Trump, $67 million. But more Republicans voted for Donald Trump in 2020 than in 2016. Then clearly their efforts were an abject, complete, total, objective failure. Here's why this matters. As we're coming up to this special election in January, the question is going to be, how do we win? The Lincoln Project is going to tell you that the way we win is by being nice and palatable to Republicans. By not scaring them away, by talking about stuff like defund the police, or talking about stuff that like Medicare for all or the Green New Deal, because all of that is scary. The Lincoln Project is trying to convince Democrats to be as palatable to Republicans as imaginable. But clearly they don't know what the hell they're doing, because more Republicans voted for Donald Trump in 2020 than in 2016. If we try to, here it is very simply, if we try to appeal to Republicans in this special election in Georgia, we are going to lose those 2 seats. Bottom of the line. You get the point. If we try to appeal to so-called moderate Republicans, we are going to lose the special election in January. What the Lincoln Project is not going to tell you, is that if they can convince the Democrats that their strategy is the best strategy to win Georgia, then the Democrats are going to pour millions of dollars into a Republican-led organization that, one, can't deliver Republicans because they didn't deliver Republicans for Joe Biden. Okay, let me say that again. They cannot deliver the Lincoln Project and milquetoast Democrat centrism that always tries to appeal to that moderate Republican voter. They've done everything they could to appeal to the moderate conservative voter. They did not do it. Republicans voted for Donald Trump. I got to say it again. More Republicans voted for Donald Trump in 2020 than in 2016. So all of the Democrats' best effort, the establishment, people like Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, who keep telling us that we shouldn't talk about the things that matter to the people who actually went out there and voted. Are y'all following me? Hit the like button. The people who went out there and voted, specifically in Georgia, We're talking about the special election in Georgia. The people who went out there and voted were young, radical, black and brown people. The data bears it out. People who were not calling for us to defund the police. Quite frankly, it was people who were calling for us to abolish the police. So they're trying to scare you into thinking that the best strategy to win Georgia is for us to try to appeal to moderate Republicans who were never going to vote for Joe Biden or John Ossoff or Raphael Warnock in the first place. If you fall into that trap, then all you're going to do is pour millions of dollars into the Lincoln Project, who didn't deliver in the general election. How the hell do you think they're going to deliver in the special election? And you're going to ignore the people who actually got the job done, who were young, who were radical, who were black, who were brown, and our allies, our white allies. The losing strategy is for Democrats to try to appeal to moderate suburban white Republicans because they lost them. They did not win them in the general election. The losing strategy is to ignore the demands of the people who actually helped you win Georgia, young, radical, black and brown people. The winning strategy is to kick these people like the Lincoln Project out of your coalition because they did not help you. John Kasich from Ohio is trying to tell Democrats how to win. And John Kasich couldn't even deliver Ohio, the former governor of Ohio. John Kasich cannot deliver Ohio, yet he is still going on television trying to tell Democrats how to win. But my dude, you didn't even deliver Ohio. In fact, he did not even deliver his own precinct. The very precinct that he goes to vote, he did not deliver that. That precinct went for Donald Trump. And he's trying to tell us that the way that you're going to win is by kicking these Democrats, kicking these, not appealing to these leftists. Get your leftists in check. If y'all follow these Republicans' advice, you're going to make them rich and you're going to lose. They get rich regardless. The Lincoln Project got $67 million and they're starting a whole media corporation company on your donations. And they didn't even deliver 1 percentage point more of Republicans. They didn't even deliver 1 percentage point more of Republicans, and they got $67 million to do it. They got Republican consultants got $67 million and they did not deliver 1% of a Republican return. And they are actively, which is bad enough, but they are actively telling you to do the very thing that's going to make you lose the special election. Because the way we win the special election is by putting money and energy into the organizations on the ground that actually won Georgia for Joe Biden. That's how we do it. I'm bringing Marcus Ferrell in. Marcus, let me unmute your mic on my side. You're good on your side. Marcus, thank you. First of all, everybody who doesn't know Marcus is co-host with me with Political Thirst Trap on every morning at approximately 8:30. It's approximate. But Marcus has also got the organizing bona fides. He's got the campaign bona fides. I'll let him introduce himself to this audience. Tell the people about why everybody should listen to you.
You should never, ever let Squirrel Gang on your show late at night.
Gang.
All right, gang, right? So first off, I might be the first guest that has been on Ben Dixon's show since he reached 100,000 followers. Can we give a shout out to Ben Dixon for reaching 100,000 followers on
YouTube, baby.
On YouTube.
Oh,
yeah, we had to do the horn for my dog. Listen, man, first off, I know we're in it, but I had to do this right here. Congratulations, bro.
Thanks, man.
The first time that I saw you on your show, first off, it's big time. I feel like I'm big time, even though we have a show together. I feel like I'm big time right now because I got on the You Up show. That's the best. That's like
you got on the night show, man.
Yeah, I got on the night show and stuff like that. I should have put a suit on. You know what I'm talking about? So Trap
Hey, man,
Squad,
we rocking the polo. We rocking and eventually we're not gonna be rocking these polos. We're gonna be rocking the Chipmunk logo.
That's right, the Chipmunk logo, man. Listen, so congratulations to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
And I'll keep back on what you were just talking about because I was following you clearly and concisely. Moderate Republican ways, moderate Democratic ways will no longer work in Georgia. And what I mean by that is,
but before you say that, Tell them why they should listen to
Oh,
you
okay,
as you say that, because when you say that, it carries even more weight than when I say it, because I know it intellectually, I know it rhetorically, politically. You know it from organizing.
That's right. So first, you do know it, and your voice carries very clear, decisive decisions. But so I'm Marcus Farrell. You can catch me at Marcus for America on Instagram and Twitter. Marcus Ferrell on Facebook, and I am the former deputy campaign manager for Stacey Abrams, and I also was the chief of staff for New Georgia Project. New Georgia Project has registered close to 1 million voters in the past 7 years in the state of Georgia, right? If not bypassed that. The work that New Georgia Project has done, the work that Stacey Abrams has done on her campaign has always been a two-phase approach, right? Register people to vote and then galvanize them to turn out, right? And what we've done in the state of Georgia is every single time they try to purge voters down here, and they consistently try to purge voters here in the state of Georgia, what we do is we come right back at them. We came right back at them and said, okay, well, y'all knocked off 200,000, we're going to register 400,000. Y'all knocked off 50,000, we're going to come back with 100,000. Our goal was to always make sure that Black America, Georgians in general, any color, will register to vote, and then make sure that they turn out afterwards. And I don't toot my own horn. Matter of fact, I'm not going to toot my own horn.
Toot your horn, brother. I'll toot it.
but there's a lot of work that we've done before this Georgia became sexy, right? There's a lot of work that has been done before Georgia became a thing that Nancy Pelosi even paid attention to. There's a lot of work that has been done before cases even had a conversation about what Georgia looks like, right? And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up all of the organizers, Black, white, Latinx, Asian, just across the board, Native, Indigenous, that have done the amazing amount of work that needs to be done for us to even have a chance right now. So as much as I love my sister, Stacey Abrams, and when I say that, I mean that. Stacey gave me a shot in Georgia, and I've just expanded upon that shot. There's so many other people that have been doing the work down here, and there's so many people that have been preaching the same song that Ben has been preaching, but more so, and more importantly, that is just necessary, and that is one thing. Moderate Democrats, even though Stacey might even consider herself a moderate Democrat, moderation doesn't work. You have to say something in the state of Georgia. You have to say something, right? And the Pelosi style campaigning of going to moderate white people does not work in Georgia. Why? Because Georgians live together, and white Georgians know that Black Georgians need more help, more work, more policies to lift our whole state up in this state, right? And the problem has been is that there's this one thought process of, okay, there's only one way we can go, like, vote for us. We're not going to push any policies, and we'll be good. And what I'm afraid of, and I'll be very honest, what I'm afraid of is Ossoff, who's ran 2 campaigns like that. And he's been successful in one because he had more money than everyone else down here. That they think that this is the way that we go forward. And before you come down here to Georgia, well, let me change that. Come down to Georgia.
Yes.
Volunteer with us. Make phone calls. But we got to talk about what the possibility is for Democrats and for progressives and for liberals in general. What the possibilities of a Senate, a majority Democrat Senate looks like in comparison to trying to boost up the moderate sort of do it.
Well, let me ask you a couple specific questions to illuminate what you're saying, because what you're saying is spot on, right? But also, I'm going to toot your horn for you. Number one, you're a deputy campaign manager for Stacey Abrams, and this was in the race that was stolen from her by Brian Kemp, disenfranchising a couple of 100,000 people. So you were actually a part of that campaign.
That's right.
That was, in my opinion, victorious. It was just stolen from us, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's number one. Hey, wait, I'm gonna let you elaborate, because I just want to go down your bona fides, right? Number two, you were the African-American Outreach Director, National African-American Outreach Director for Bernie Sanders.
I was.
In 2016.
That's right. That's
So
right.
you know what the hell you're doing.
Yes.
Number 3, you actually worked in, you were the executive, what was your position
I was the chief of staff of New Georgia Project, and under my watch, over 400,000 Georgians were registered to vote here in this state.
Okay. So if there's anybody who knows what's going on in Georgia, it's not just you. There's other people who know what's going on in Georgia, but you're in that group of people who knows how to win Georgia.
That's right. We've been saying the same thing for years, and when it wasn't sexy, and I keep using that word, so excuse me, America, but when it wasn't popular to center Black voters, I mean, when I came in 2015 and had a conversation with Stacey Abrams, I give her props because she said, "So how would you win Georgia?" And the first thing I said was, "Center people of color, center Black people, center Latinx people, center Asian people." And she was like, she damn near was like, "You got the job." Right. Because she, I mean, if you're Stacey Abrams, even at that time, they were looking for ways to like get their foot into a demographic shift. But fundamentally, moderates don't know how to center Black voters, talk to people of color, and address their issues. Because here's the problem. You have to address issues. You have to address issues in order for people to vote in the state of Georgia. And
it's insufficient for them to say, "I'm not Donald Trump." That would not have been enough to win Georgia in this previous election.
Hey, listen, saying I'm not Brian Kemp is not enough, right? Saying that, like, let's localize it. Saying that I'm not the white Republican is not enough. In Georgia, you have to bring up issues because there's an immense amount of poverty. Has America ever heard of the Black Belt? Has your late night viewers heard of the Black Belt before? Have you brought that up before, Ben?
I have not. Actually, bring it on up.
All right. So the Black Belt is basically a belt, a line, a mark along the in the southeast where there's rural Black voters, there's rural Black people, and it's probably one of the most immense amounts of poverty in general. And they've been living there, and they've been, and I can almost say this is their ancestral home because they literally got off some of these plantations and literally bought property and lived on property that their ancestors were enslaved in. And they're still there today, and they're still living in poverty, and they're still affected by the environment. That's why the Green New Deal is important. They're still affected by police violence. That's why not only police reform, but abolishing the police or either.
Well, let's put some context there because the organizers that made this happen, right? They are not calling for us to defund the police like Jim Clyburn is so worried about. Defund the police. They're not calling for us to defund the police. They're calling for us to do what?
Get rid of them.
Abolish the police.
Abolish them.
So you're not gonna encourage these people to come out in January if you're trying to tell them y'all need to stop talking about defunding the police. That's not gonna resonate. That's gonna backfire.
One of the biggest protests during the summertime happened right on John Lewis Parkway and Boulevard. So anybody who knows Atlanta knows that John Lewis Parkway and Boulevard is maybe 3 blocks away from where Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King's body is laid right now. Mm-hmm. And you know what they were yelling at that protest? They weren't yelling, reform the police. They weren't yelling, do something about the police. They were yelling 2 things: defund the police and abolish the police. Yes. That's a fact. So when you have elected officials saying, well, we're not calling for that, but yet they scream Black Lives Matter. When you have elected officials saying we're not calling for that, but they are willing to take a knee and wear kente cloth, right?
Come on, man.
Listen,
that's not going to work in Georgia.
But they playing games, Ben. They playing games. They
I
playing
want to pull
games.
something up. Let me pull something up on the screen.
We need to make it clear that you don't listen. You do what you have to do to win, but more importantly, that win number comes in one thing: galvanizing the people who didn't even vote in the Biden election, galvanizing people with talking points and things that you're going to do for their community to get poverty out of Atlanta, to get gentrification out of Old Fourth Ward, to get police officers out of like from beating people up all across Georgia, right? To end the Ahmaud Arbery situations, to end the Kendrick Johnson situations in Georgia. And the only way that we do that is real policies that do something about police and do something about.
So what about the proposition? Actually, before we even go there, let me pull something up on the screen here. And actually, I want to switch screens to secondary display. Nope, that's not the one. Primary display. There we go. I pulled it up on the screen, and I want everybody to look at it. This is the exit polling data, which is not complete. It's still coming in, but it shows you who voted and gave Georgia to Joe Biden. Black youth in Georgia powered Joe Biden's run to flip the state. If you look in the middle, black youth ages 18 to 29 voted for Joe Biden at 90%. As young people in general, 25 to 29, 54%, 60% for youth ages 18 to 24. So it's good in general, whether you're black or white. If you're a young person, you voted for Joe Biden in Georgia. And if you're a young black person, you extraordinary voted for Biden, which is exactly what we need to do. Who didn't vote for Joe Biden? Young white youth. Now, with that data, with that knowledge, does it make any sense for the Democratic Party to be listening to people like the Lincoln Project, telling them to stay away from stay away from radical issues, stay away from defunding the police, stay away from, because you're going to scare away the moderate Republicans? The moderate Republicans were never going to vote for us in the first place.
Come on now, listen, man. There's in no space in America can the Lincoln Project and Black liberation live in the same space. There's no space in America where the Lincoln Project and moderate Republicans, because here's the thing: if you're quiet about brown people in Georgia getting hysterectomies and you didn't make a noise about it when it was happening, if you were quiet about that, and then you want to be at the same table with black people who are getting killed by police, Joe Biden has to make a decision. He has to make a serious decision about which way he's going to lean, because we can't coexist. Fundamentally, the Lincoln Project, Republicans, and you know what? Yes, I get it. The Lincoln Project did what they had to do to try to get their people to swing over. But unfortunately, their base was not the people that actually put Joe Biden over the edge. It was black folks that put Joe Biden over the edge. Now, can you honestly say, as a person who supports Black Lives Matter, as a person who supports black issues in America, can you honestly say that a Republican who has been silent about Donald Trump can go to the same table after they pushed their Blue Lives Matter flag, after they pushed all of the derogatory things about immigrants in this country, including black immigrants who we're friends with, who we're cousins with, who are married to as a black community, and then have Republicans at the table? I'm sorry, that's not going to work.
Not when they. I want to address a comment from the comment section, because I appreciate the comment, and I think it's worthwhile discussing. This is from New Lifer on, it looks like YouTube. And they said, Ben, but I'm one of them. I agreed with what the Lincoln Project said about Trump. I'm a never Trumper, but Lincoln Project swayed me to seek things out like your show. Just wanted you to know. And I appreciate you being here. That might be the only good thing they actually did, though, was got you over here to my show, because
that's right.
You're an outlier, right? As a percentage. It is just, right now, it is just a statistical fact. And we'll get the data hardened as the voter files are all updated. But with the exit polling data, Republicans voted for Donald Trump at a higher percentage in 2020 than they did in 2016. So, my friend, New Lifer, I appreciate the sentiment, but you're an outlier. The Republicans went to Donald Trump even greater than they did in 2016. And this is with the Lincoln Project having $67 million. Now, setting aside the $67 million, the thing that matters the most right now is that the strategy that they're trying to get the Democrats to employ and to deploy in Georgia is one that's not going to work, Marcus.
That's right. Listen, man, Blue Lives Matter wants to kill me. Blue Lives Matter wants to allow the killing of my nephews, the people that I spend a whole bunch of money on, I care about, and I'm inviting to my Thanksgiving table, right? My America is different from the America that Blue Lives Matter has. And the reason why I bring them up is, have we seen Blue Lincoln Project dismiss Blue Lives Matter? Have we seen Lincoln Project dismiss all of the police unions across the country? Have we seen it? And if they have, then are they going to be consistent about it? And the answer is no, right? Because moderate Republicans live in a safety zone which is the suburbia that they think that I'm going to go put on a hoodie and a mask. And yes, I wear my hoodie in the morning time, but put on a hoodie and a mask and mess around with white women and black people right now. Man, listen, black men aren't the ones that are trying to kidnap white women. That's the alt-right.
That's the Proud Boys, right? They have us more afraid of liberation. And I'm telling you, if you want, the demographics have shifted. We reached out to Mundell. Mundell had previous engagements and stuff that he had to do tonight, so he couldn't come on. But Mundell has really good data on the demographic shifts, not only on the national level, right, but also here in Georgia. Right. There have been so many black people who registered to vote and are ready to work to win this thing. So much so the uptick, the advantage that the Democratic Party has in this state is exactly and precisely because of black people. You cannot then turn around, and I don't care what black person you put up there. Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, I'm sorry, he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's right.
What he's talking about is a type of politics that was successful in 1990, 1992. What Jim Clyburn is trying to convince you to do as a black person is politics that worked in 1992, not politics that are going to work in 2020, as evidenced by the fact that millennials and younger generation X, millennials and Zoomers, older Zoomers, are a bigger proportion of the electorate than they have ever been. There are more of us than it is them. And so you cannot take the politics of an older generation that wants us to go back to 1992 with people who were born in 1992. We're doing something fundamentally different.
Listen, man, you can't pass the lift every voice plan that they have with Republicans at the table. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm crazy. And I am crazy, but I'm crazy like a fox. And I also understand how politics work. The same people who have been blocking basic humanity for Black and Latinx people and indigenous Americans for the past couple of years, the same exact people. I go back to this because you can't do two things at the same time. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have to make a decision. And that decision, whether we love it or not, they have to make a decision whether they really want to say, okay, you know what, that lift every voice plan is the direction that we're going. And organically, I promise you, the Lincoln Project, the moderate Republicans, even a couple of moderate Democrats are going to step away from the table because you cannot talk about black liberation in America without actually having conversations about what the Republican and the Democratic Party has done at the same time. And right now the black community just needs an honest conversation about why are you guys ignoring our issues on a consistent basis. It's not cool anymore. It's not smart anymore, and it's not fun anymore. I'm tired, Ben.
And when we as a community have given you power on a consistent basis, right? How do you ignore us on a consistent basis when we as a community have given you power? And bringing it back full circle to Georgia, if they want to win in January, they are not going to win trying to appeal to moderate Republicans. That is how they're going to lose. Moderate Republicans are like Lucy with the football, and Charlie Brown is like the Democratic Party, always trying to kick that ball, trying to convince moderate Republicans to come over and trust us. We're not going to be too radical. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep our leftists at bay. We're going to keep our base at bay. And every single time, the Republicans, just like Lucy, just pull that football from them. And they don't ever vote for the Democratic Party. They don't ever vote for you. They will not vote for you. They're not into you. They don't like you. They think you're the devil.
That's right. Listen, at the end of the day, like I said on Twitter, I'm a Fulton County voter. I'm an Atlanta, Georgia voter. And I helped y'all out with y'all little issue with Donald Trump because to be quite honest with you, besides COVID, my life hadn't changed. So let me tell you something. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got my vote. Y'all told me to vote blue no matter who. But on January 20th of 2021.
2021.
I'm having a funeral for the statement, vote blue no matter who. That we're having a repass with the Accountability Commission. And our repass is going to be, okay, y'all got it. Y'all asked us for this vote without having any real things done for my community. And this is not a Hotep statement. This is just I'm a normal black guy statement who lives in Atlanta, who loves America, who served his country, and who came back not as a Vietnam veteran, but as a veteran of the wars that happened in the 90s. Look, I'm tired of not getting what's just due, especially when we keep saving y'all behinds. Man, we kept, hey, Ben, how many times have we saved them?
Over and over again. I feel like that's a question from the church. How many times has he delivered you? Over and over again. How many times have we set you free, Democrats? Over and over again. I'm retweeting that thing from you right now. You said the Black Progressive Delegation is having a celebration of life for the phase of vote blue no matter who. Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. The repass will be the Accountability Committee headquarters shortly thereafter, meaning that's not going to help you win anymore. You got to address the issues. You got to talk to the community that's been elevating you. And if you want to lose, listen to people like John Kasich. Listen to people like the Lincoln Project. Listen to people like Anna Navarro, who did not deliver you 1 percentage point. John Kasich didn't even deliver you his own precinct. The precinct he goes to vote. He didn't even deliver that. Marcus, I want you to get the last word on how they win in Georgia and why they should listen to people like you, Mundell, Insay, all the folks who are actually here in Georgia who've been doing the work for the longest amount of time.
Well, thank you for the last word, at least for my segment, man. But first off, brother, I love you, and I appreciate Trap Squad. I appreciate the Ben Dixon channel. I appreciate everybody who watches his show. Keep watching the show. Keep rocking with him. This man is amazing, and he's allowing a platform that is not heard right now. My last statement is this right here. I am going to allow all the nonsense to happen about moderation just to get Ossoff and Warnock elected. You know why? Because Georgia needs, America needs a Democratic Senate. And here's why we need a Democratic Senate. We need a Democratic Senate so we can hold them accountable, but not just hold them accountable, but say, y'all had y'all chance. We gave y'all everything that we had. We gave y'all the House, we gave y'all the Senate, and we gave y'all the presidency. And if something is not done about what we need as Black Americans, as Americans in general, then guess what? Y'all don't deserve our votes anymore, and we need to go another direction.
That's it. Marcus, I appreciate you, man. We had 2,600 people who started listening to you, and they stayed the entire way through, man. So I appreciate you coming on and spreading that gospel truth. And we bring you back soon, man. What I'm talking about, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, I'll see you in the morning time.
Trap Squad in the morning. I'll see you in a couple of hours for clickbaity political thirst trap. Thanks, man.